morning and welcome to the 2020 Memorial Day service for Brillion. I'm glad to see that you're watching this video today, as it shows that you too have an appreciation for those who've lost their lives, given their lives, and paid the ultimate price to protect our freedom. Memorial Day will look quite different this year than the years past. Although we won't be formally gathering, we still encourage you to visit a cemetery to pay your respects in person to those who fought and died for our freedom. To many, Memorial Day has become the official kickoff to summer. Sadly, to many Americans, we are forgetting that we should take time on this day to recognize who has allowed us that freedom. Americans have been paying their respects on Memorial Day since the 1860s, back when it was called Decoration Day. What started as a kind gesture by locals of laying flowers at graves quickly became a yearly tradition and a national holiday. Memorial Day is more than just a chance to go to the lake. It's a chance to honor those who gave their lives fighting for our freedom and who have made the ultimate sacrifice. As a good friend of mine always says, freedom isn't free. My name is Rebecca Rice, and I'm a member of the American Legion Auxiliary here in Brillion. For today's Memorial Day service, I want to talk about the three men whose names grace the banner Bloedorn-Becker-Jensen, American Legion Post 126. I thought today would be fitting to take time to tell their stories of sacrifice for the next generation. Brillion native Arno Bloedorn was born in 1889. In 1917, he made the choice to enlist in the military as opposed to waiting to be drafted for the war against the Germans. During his basic training, he would write letters to the Brillion News telling of his tales. Eventually, he was assigned to the 127th Infantry Regiment of the 32nd Division, Company H. After intense training, he and his division were on their way to France. It was now 1918, and at this point, Arno had made sergeant. The fighting continued for months through rough terrain. They battled against machine guns and intense artillery. Throughout various battles, the division had help, but unfortunately just 1 month before the war was over, Arno was hit by German fire. Shortly thereafter, as American Legion posts were beginning to form across the country, Brillion's Legion was established. In October of 1919, the Brillion American Legion Post was established under the name of Arno Bloedorn Post 126 of Wisconsin. The second name to grace our Legion's banner is that of Bernard Becker. Becker enlisted in the Army. After completing training as a flying cadet in photography, he was stationed in the Philippines. It's the Second World War, and Becker is in charge of the photo laboratories that would fly around and survey the area. In April of 1942, the Japanese are invading the Philippines. The men don't want to surrender, so they take their chances in an attempt to escape. Sadly, after a grueling 3.5 months, their camp was attacked in the night. It is said that Becker disappeared into the jungle and was never seen or heard of again. Some tales say that he escaped, but many have said that he died of malaria. Eventually, the government sent word home that he was likely deceased. Becker's name was added to the Legion shortly following World War II. Richard Chugger Jensen is the third name of our Legion post. A talented athlete and brilliant grad, he joined the Navy in 1961 and would become a medic. By 1965, he would find himself in Vietnam. Chugger and 3 other men were on their way back from their errands when their vehicle hit an explosive device. While 2 of the men died instantly, Chugger and fellow Marine Paul were seriously injured. Paul was able to get to Chugger and assist him by making a tourniquet with their belts. Eventually, the patrol reached them, and they were taken to the hospital where Chugger would spend the next 16 days. He was able to make one final call home, but his injuries were too extensive and resulted in his death on November 22, 1965. Jensen was added to the post name in 1974. Brillion was the first Wisconsin post to add the name of a Vietnam veteran. A Brillion Memorial Day tradition is to hear the reading of the poem In Flanders Fields. The poem was written by Canadian Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. Each year the poem is read by the Poppy Princess. This year's Poppy Princess is Raina Eiches.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky the lark still bravely singing fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we are the dead short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunlight glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the flow, to you from falling hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. Thank you for your service.